guys, welcome to DIY with Megan. Now we're on to the second part of refinishing this desk, and that is sanding. What you're going to need for this part is you're going to need an orbital sander, 80 grit sandpaper, and 220 grit sandpaper. So let's talk a little bit about the basics of sanding. When you're sanding a piece of furniture, you always want to go with the grain of the wood. If you go against the grain, you're going to make bad marks in it, and then that's going to show up when you stain it. You also want to make sure that you keep your sander flat. If you sand too much in one particular area, that will show up with your stain as well. You want to be consistent. So in this particular piece we're working on, it is solid wood, but on the top of it, it has a thin layer of this veneer. If you're not careful, you'll sand through that. So first I'll start with my 80 grit sandpaper. This is the sandpaper that's going to get all the gunk off of there left behind by the stripper. When you're sanding, you want to make sure that you get all of what was left on there off. If you leave any parts of that old poly, that old stain, your new stain won't absorb into the top of the piece. We had a bad spot that we left behind in the corner, but I went back and sanded that off because if I hadn't, you would have seen it in the final finish. After I've sanded the edge really well with my orbital sander, I will take an old piece of sandpaper. You can pull the sandpaper off the sander. I like to fold mine in half and use that corner between my veneer and my trim to give me a sharp edge. So after I sand completely with that 80 grit sandpaper, I like to go back with the 220. 80 grit is pretty rough sandpaper and it will leave swirl marks, especially in the places that you had to bear down harder to get out scratches or like that real dark spot that we had on the top of ours. So if you go back over it with a 220, that will get those swirl marks out of there and it'll give you a nice smooth finish to put your stain on. After we finish sanding our piece completely, you want to go back with a clean cloth and just wipe all the dust off. You may not think it'll be dusty, but if you wipe it with your hand, you can see it. So dust it off with a rag good so that you have a clean surface to apply your stain to. Thanks for watching DIY with Megan. In our next video, we'll show you how to stain the top of a piece of furniture. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and comment if you have any questions.